Okay. So acceptance testing. So acceptance testing is actually, it's a broad, it's a broad way of saying it's also a kind of like high level testing. So to be specific, like it's called UAT. Okay, user acceptance testing. So acceptance testing can be anything, right? User acceptance testing, or if it is done by the business, like business acceptance testing and so on. Okay, whatever the it's up to the requirements, whatever the requirement is. Okay, so acceptance UAT is actually this type of testing is to make sure the customer to verify if the if it is meets the customer specified requirements. Okay, let's say you have application. So this is like similar to functional testing but not same, because there will be a different team who will be working on UAT. So UAT team, and there's like functional team. Okay, so two different teams. Okay, so but based on the requirements. So these requirements are like mostly from the customer specified. Like let's take an example. Let's say like customer had an issue. Okay, the customer I wanted to like um, wanted an application to be a different, the application should be a different and is not user friendly, all those things. So that comes under UAT. So user acceptance testing. That means, is it like is the testing done as per the customer specified requirements? Okay, so they have their own, so they will be having the same business required documents. Okay, but the the testing is different. Okay, so it's like similar to functional testing but not same. Okay, so that's like so acceptance testing is is like testing where you see the customer specified requirements. You verify the customer specified requirements. You test the customer specified requirements. It's called acceptance testing. Okay, so it's an actually acceptance testing is kind of like high level. If you want to be specific, like user acceptance testing. So acceptance testing is like a little bit specific for the user point of view. Otherwise, they also have like business acceptance testing and you know various types of testing. So in that case, like this is like high level. Okay, so let's move to the load testing. Okay, before load testing, right? Let's go to the performance testing. So performance testing. So this is done after most of the time, like it is done after the functional testing. Okay, functional, the complete functional testing, like functional testing. Okay, integrated testing, incremental integrated testing, all those testings are completed, then you move to the performance testing. Okay, so this is performance team is like it's a different team who will be working on that one. So you as a whole you may not work in everything. So either you may work on functional testing or you might work in performance testing. Okay, but not both. Not always. Okay, not always. You may work. It depends upon the requirement, how the requirement is, and how the the location and how the condition is. So otherwise, that's a different team actually, performance team. Okay, so it's classified as a two, it's two types of testing for performance. One is load testing, and the other is stress testing. Okay, so performance testing is classified into two types of testing. There's load testing and stress testing. Okay, so let me give some brief introduction, like why do we need a performance testing. Okay, so here in this performance testing, right? So normally, why do we do this performance testing? We see the performance of an application. Okay, let's say if I'm using URL, let's say I'm trying to access some website, right? Amazon.com. So it's taking time. You see this? It's taking time to move that um, that application. It's taking some time. So that is performance. How much time it has taken the application to load the web page. Okay, in this browser, how much time it has taken. So there are so many other factors, which is which is while it's showing a web page. Okay, it's going to the database, it's connecting to the server, and querying that server and getting the information from the database, how many production databases, am I having the access to the production databases. For that reason, that server has to run. Okay, so many things are happening at the back end. Okay, so here let's take an example. Okay, let's say you have a server. Okay, a server which can accept only 50 users. Okay, only 50 users. Okay, and it cannot go beyond like 50 users. Okay, and the customer, so Amazon.com, right? And so whenever you're trying to access, an URL, let's say this Amazon.com, you're trying to access this URL. I'm not even saying like log in, just log in into it, browse this, not required. So I'm just trying to, just put this URL into a browser. That means whenever you're trying to put that URL into the browser, that means it accesses some part of some resources from the server, right? It goes to the server, it takes some, as I told you, right? It queries the database, production database, it automatically queries and it brings out all the information what is there in the database and shows up here. It shows up on the web page and all this, screenshots and all these URLs, all this has to load. So it's taking some information from the server. So the server, it's consuming resources, right? It's consuming some space, it's consuming some memory. Okay, it's consuming, like, the processor is running, so many things are happening at back end. Okay, so just to show up just one web page, okay, just to show up one web page, it's like, it's querying the database, so it's like, it's taking some time. Okay, and that server is capable only 50 users. Okay, so, and Amazon.com, right? All over the world, people, those people query that, put that URL. So let's say 1,000 people are accessing this URL, and do you have one server? Okay, one server which only can accept only 50 users. Okay, for just for querying. Now 1,000 people are accessing that same URL at once. Okay, 1,000 people are accessing that URL Amazon.com at once. Okay, so can anyone tell me what happens, how the application gets response? Have anyone has any idea about that? Okay, so the application, application might be slow, and right, so application might be slow and and what happens, like, the most, right? The server blows up because the server only has a capacity to load only 50 users, and you're putting the load of 1,000 people at once. The server cannot handle that much amount of load, right? So at the max, the server blows up. It starts, the processor blows up, and everything gets burnt just by accessing that URL, right? Just by, because so many people are logging at the same time, not even logging, just accessing this URL. Just saying to access URL, that means just putting this URL in this browser and just waiting for a while. And that 1,000 people are doing at once. So that's what it happens. Okay. Now you log in here. That takes a different resource. It queries the database, everything. But just to use this URL, it might not work. Application might be very slow, or application might be may not respond. It shows an error. So okay, now let's say you have now two servers. Okay, now you have two servers. Okay. Now let's say 100 people are accessing this URL. Okay. So there is something called load balancer. So let's say you have this software called load balancer. So let's say 100 people are accessing this URL at once. So what happens, right? So that what does the load balancer does is, balances the load. So let's say if 100 people are logging into the same server, that load balancer will take the 50 users and put it into another server. So in that case, you can have multiple servers and the same URL can be accessed by, thousands of people at the same time, in the same moment. Okay, so in the same way you have like, so it's like, Google the same way, right? Google also have like, million servers. So that was about 2012 or 2013. They had like million servers all over the world, and they will. So that's why Google is never slow, right? Whenever you click, just it comes to blink of an eye. So that's how. Okay, so that's how they are made. Okay, so there are so many servers so that you don't have problem in accessing that, accessing the web page or URL. Okay, so that's the load balancer take care of that. So that's what about the performance testing. So you put the load on that. So whenever so not just accessing URLs, you're navigating the web pages. You are actually moving your. Okay, so whenever I click on this, it queries that information to the server and brings out that information and shows up here. So whatever is there in whatever is showing in the web page, right? That means it has the database. Okay, this web page doesn't show just like that. I mean, there's a database backend, so that's why you are able to see this information. You cannot see this information if there is no database, right? So just make sure you understand that. So you're viewing this because there is a database at backend. Okay. So there's a lot of information. So you can see the how many millions and I don't know more than millions of records you have this in database. Okay. So all this like in this images can also be stored in the database. Okay. So I'm just like you have that query also you can put So all those things you can store in a database. So now whenever you're trying to query, I mean whenever you're trying to navigate this, it's automatically getting queried to the server and you're getting all the information to the BP. Now it's just not one person, like there are many people who will be logging it. So that's called users. Okay. Now hundreds of users. Okay. So here what we'll be talking is virtual users, since um, since we don't have like we don't use users, real-time users, so we use virtual users. So there is a tool called load runner. Okay, there's a tool called load runner which does this job, like load testing and stress testing is done by the automated tool called load runner. So there's not one tool, there are many tools. Load runner is from like HP. Okay, so HP. There is one more actually, load UI from smartware. Okay, so there are many tools. So using load runner, okay, you test the performance of an application. So we are trying to put like 1,000 virtual users. Okay, we are trying, that means 1,000 users are logging in at the same time, and you're trying to navigate that application. How does the application behave? So you want to see there is throughput. You want to see that how the was the time, the graph, actually the graph is plotted, and how the application is behaving. In this amount of time, what is the peak period? What is the time taken to move navigate application from one page to another page? All that information. So that comes under performance testing. Okay. Any questions on performance testing? So why this is like why do we need performance testing? To test the performance of an application. So how the application is behaving. Is it fast? Is it slow? Okay. If it's slow, why it is slow? So all this information should be investigated, right? So that's the reason you need performance testing. Any questions on performance testing? So it has like two types. One is load testing and stress testing. Let's go to the load testing. So in this testing an application under heavy load, such as testing of website, range of loads determine what point of system's response time degrade. So you are trying to identify the bottleneck of an application in the load testing. Load testing, you're trying to put a load on an application, as I told you, right? You're trying to put like 100 users, 200 users, 1000 users. You can also put 1000 users. That means you're trying to, trying to put the amount of load on the server and trying to see the how the application is performing. Okay, so that's called load testing. So you're trying to put and load in sense you're trying to navigate. That's it. I mean, you're not doing anything like you're not putting physical pressure or something like that. You are actually trying to navigate an application, just like just like I'm doing here. But here only one person. Okay, as a one person I'm trying to do. So that's why it's okay. But when the 1000 people, when the so no they count in general. Okay, there will be millions of people who will be accessing at the same time. That's fine because they have distributed on servers all over the country and all over the places. So that's not an issue. But at the local area, let's say let's take local area, and you have like people who have been accessing this will go to that particular server and gets queried. So okay, in that case, let's say 1000 people are logging in that area. Okay, so in that scenario, you need to figure it out the bottleneck of an application. So where does the actually, the application fails? You need to identify that, bottleneck. So that's called load testing. Okay. And next move to the next one. That's stress testing. So stress testing is like it's like heavy load, like you're trying to put more, not even you're just putting the load but also trying to add more load on that, like like large number of storage capacity database queries. So database queries is not what you'll be doing like select star. No, see, this database queries is actually automatic. So whenever you're trying to click on some URL or something, it's actually getting queried at the database. It's automatic. Nobody is actually interfering in it. So it's actually going to. So that's what it means like complex database queries. Okay. And continuous input system with the database load. So you're trying to put a load on the database, right? So if you want to view this image, so that means it's going to a particular database and getting that information for you. So that's a load. So I mean, this is stress because you're not even accessing that URL, but also you're trying to query that database. You're getting some information from that image. Okay, so I like this, I want to buy this. I click this. Okay, I want to order this. So all this comes under stress testing, and not one guy. And like like 1000 people are accessing this at the same time. Okay. Okay. So that's about stress testing. Okay. Any questions in load and stress testing? Okay. So let's move to the next topic. Usability testing. So in this usability testing, user friendliness check. So this is so you are trying to test the application flow is tested. So that a new user, see, let's say I'm a new user and I want to see, I don't want to like have hassle in just to navigate an application. I want to be user friendly, right? Okay, so here like let me give an example in this user friendly testing. Let's go to the Amazon. Let me delete this card. Okay, so let me sign off from here. Okay, no URL, big URL for just signing in. Okay, so as a new user, let's say I'm trying to, I'm a new user and I want to buy something, I like something, I want to buy, some product in Amazon. Now, I want to sign in. Okay, let's take it. I'm just taking an example here. So user friendliness, how user friendliness will be. Okay, so I want to sign in, right? So I want to see that sign in button right in front of my eyes. Okay, right in front of my web page, So okay, sign in button is here. Good, now I can sign in. That's the user friendliness. So I don't want sign in option to be in the footer of the page and somewhere in a insignificant place of the page where you cannot even see that. So I don't want like sign in button there, right? I'm a user, so I don't want like you don't want to make work for the user to figure it out where the sign in button is just to buy a product. Now the user will say, no man, I'll not buy, I'll buy from somewhere else. There's a business class there, so business will lose. Okay, so that's the reason you need usability testing. That means friendliness. Okay, how much user friendliness is there? So if the customer doesn't like, okay, if there is no sign in button, it's a no sign in button. I'll buy from different place. I don't bother in Amazon. It's not user friendly. When I'm trying to click, it's not showing up. How much I'm clicking, it's not showing up. It's not user friendly. So that's user friendly. Okay, so that's just an example, not necessarily only sign in button. I just given you example. It can be anything. How the how it should be, the look and feel, for the customer, so on. Okay, so that's how you need to be testing user friendliness. So here application flow is tested. New user, so that's the thing, right? New user should understand the application easily. So that's how these applications are designed. And whenever new user comes up, you don't want, let's say, cart. They want to go to the cart, but that doesn't have to be in footer of the page. There is no point of putting the cart option here. Right? So it should be right in front of the user, so that if the user wants to buy, he wants to just click on that and just go ahead and just buy it. Okay, so it should be easy for the user. That's the reason you need usability testing. Okay, next you have like install and uninstall testing. So install and uninstall is normally again for the client applications, not much for web application. So here, whenever you install an application, let's say you're trying to install an application, client application, which will be installed in your system or your desktop or your laptop. Okay, so that's installation. So whenever you try to install, right, there's so many things happen at the back end. Registry keys gets updated. You have DLL files that gets updated. So many files get new files come into the directories, and new things come up. So all those things to be tested. So that's called install and uninstall testing. Once you uninstall, you have to make sure that all those files are removed, or all the files are deleted from that, so that to make sure that uninstall testing is done. Okay, so that's an example for install and uninstall testing. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Recovery testing. So recovery testing is like testing, like how, let's say you're trying to test an application, right? Suddenly some pop-up window shows up. Now how soon that pop-up windows will recover by itself. Okay, that is called recovery testing. So so not even just pop-up window, it can be crashes, hardware failures, or see, normally this happens when the server is slow, right? When the server is slow, the web page doesn't move. Okay, how soon it's moved to the next web page. Okay, you want to recover, so you want to see that how soon the system gets recovered, right? So recovered from crashes and hardware failures. Okay, that's called recovery testing. Okay, next you have like security testing. Okay, so in this testing, right, so you want to see, like you want to make sure testing is how the system protects against unauthorized access. Let's take an example here. Okay, let's say google.com. So whenever you're trying to see the google.com, right, there is a called HTTPS. Okay, This HTTPS means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. S means secure. Okay. So now, you know, if you want to, like, you can use HTTP too. Okay. So here it's not working. Let's take this another example. So this is HTTP. So this means it's not secure. Okay, this is not secure and this is secure. Why do we need this, right? We need this because to encrypt whatever the information you're sending to Google server and to you. So there is no one, like, you know, who is trying to, you know, hack your information. Okay, because, you know, if this is in HTTP, that means there is no encryption. That means whenever you're trying to search or something, somebody is, you know, spying on you. That means somebody is viewing what you're actually trying to do. Okay, so if you have this HTTPS, that means nobody can view anything because it's encrypted. Whatever you're trying to search, or so that's to do that testing is called security testing. I mean, this is just an example. It don't have to be HTTPS or something. I'm just saying, like, no, it's just an example here. Let's see. Oops. So when you go to HTTPS, details. Okay, so here you see this page is secure and valid HTTPS and it has certificate. Okay, that certificate shows, that means, you know, this encrypts, they have third party algorithm, okay, that encrypts the whatever the information what you are trying to do. So that's the reason, right? Whenever I try to put a credit card information or something, right, I see that, you know, it should be HTTPS. I never put, whenever I'm trying to shop online, right, I make sure it's HTTPS. If it's no HTTPS, that means somebody is stealing your information. Somebody is stealing your SSN. Somebody is stealing your credit card number. Okay. Somebody might be, you know, getting your information, I don't know, address information, everything. So you have to make sure it's, it's HTTPS and not HTTP. So if you are doing something in HTTP, make sure it's you're not doing it, because, you know, somebody is viewing it. Simple. Somebody is spying on you. It don't have to be, you know, your friend or something like that. It might be any part of the world, not even country. It might be any part of the world, because you are accessing the web page. That means you are connected to the whole world, right? So that's kind of testing. So that testing, you know, is called security testing. Okay, can system be penetrated by any hacking way? So testing how well the system protects against unauthorized access is called security testing. Right. Let's move to the next topic. Compatibility testing. Okay. So here, so you want to test the compatibility, of an application. Let's say you have, um, let's say you have two versions of an application, same application. You have two versions. Okay. You are testing it. So it's compatible. Second version is not compatible. So you are trying to test that compatibility. That means it's not compatible. So many things comes, under compatibility testing. What is the hardware you are using? Okay, what is the software? What is the operating system? What is the network environment, and so on. Okay, because some applications are compatible with Windows, some applications are not compatible with the um, Mac, not compatible with the Unix, not compatible with the Linux. Okay, so you want to test that. So that's called compatibility testing. See, for web applications, okay, since even for the web application, for the client application, of course, once you install a particular application in your system, of course, if it's installed in Windows, then it will not be compatible with the Mac. That's for sure. Okay. Even for the web, so let's say you are using a web application, you are trying to view that application in, okay, Firefox. Okay, Firefox, and you are trying to, view in an application in the Internet Explorer, IE, then of course it might not be compatible. Then you have, that's an issue, compatible issue. It's not compatible with the browser, okay, IE, and it is compatible with the, Firefox. So that's kind of, compatibility testing. Then you have like comparison testing. Comparison, right? Comparing the two products with what are its, what are its advantages and what are its disadvantages. Okay, that's called comparison testing. Okay. Then you have like alpha testing. So this alpha testing, right? So it's normally in-house virtual in user environment. See, this alpha testing is normally done by the developer. Okay, in some companies you say the developers. So what happens, right? This is before production, before getting production, or before, or like it's better is like once before deployment. Okay, in some companies they'll be using this, before deployment the code into production, they'll be doing the alpha testing. Okay. Okay, so at the end of the development, so once development is done, you deploy the code into QA. QA, you'll be testing it. Once it goes into production, they will be doing alpha testing. Okay, normally developers, okay, anyone can be anyone can be doing that alpha testing, not just developers or testers. Whoever is involved in the project, who is the business analyst, project manager, scrum master, testers, QA, UAT, user acceptance testers, performance testers, anyone, automation testers, regression testers, so on, who is involved in the project, who is actually is normally alpha testing, but not necessarily as always. Developers, fully developers can also do alpha testing. So that's called alpha testing. Because the main thing is like testing done at the end of the development is called alpha testing. That's a simple word. But it depends on the companies to companies how they want to do it. Okay, and then you have like beta testing. So beta testing is normally done by the users. That means consumers. Let's say there is a product. There is like a web application or any client application. So what does this company does, right? Company releases the product into the market. It's called demo version. So you guys have heard it, right? Demo version. That means there are no, I mean, they are giving limited functionalities and features of an application. Okay, so they are giving away the limited functionalities and features of an application to everyone in the world. So everyone in the world can use it. And what they say is like, okay, use this software, test it, and report the defects to us, and we will be fixing that issues. So that is called beta testing. Okay, so once that beta testing is done, now they will make a final product saying that okay, now the full version, now you have to buy, pay the money, and now you can buy the product. Okay, so that is like almost final phase. Before the final phase, you do the beta testing. So this is done by the users, consumers, normal consumers. Okay, so to make sure, see, even beta testing is done, still there are issues in the application, major application. Okay, so still those things don't get fixed. Okay, any questions? So we are done with this various types of testing. Any questions in this? Various all kinds of testing. So this was like actually the introductory, introduction class about this various types of testing. Yeah, I mean you can go through it. Okay, you can go through this. If you want some recording, okay, you can you can listen the recording. Okay, so most of times, yeah, I mean, normally people don't have any questions on this, but yeah, of course you can still ask. Okay, if you have any questions. Okay, so that's all about the various types of testing. Okay, so let's move to an application. Okay, so actually Google removed this HTTP. Before they had HTTP, now they have made everything HTTPS. So it's not showing up as HTTP. That's good. I mean, they have improved completely this. Okay, so now let's say you have gone into project, right? Now you have gone into a project and your lead has given some work. Okay, click on the project and lead said, okay, start testing this, and you got, um, you don't know what's the application and all the stuff, and your leads, you had a meeting with the lead saying that, okay, and lead and manager and project manager saying that, okay, so this should be completed by 2 weeks, and since you already have your, your test cases are ready, start testing it. This will be, deployed in Q environment by tomorrow, or hopefully by today evening, so you can start testing by today, by today, tomorrow, the max. Okay, so you have got all the deadlines, you've got everything, and somehow you managed to figure it out, what the application is, and you talk to your colleague and you got this application. Okay, so this is the application what you need to test. Right now you have all the information for you. You've got the deadlines, you've got the application ready. Okay, and your lead said, okay, this is to be done. Okay, so now you are not going to ask the lead what testing I have to do. So that's not a relevant question, right? Because you are the tester. Okay, so it's not something that you have to ask your lead saying that, okay, hey, what testing is? That's an irrelevant question. Because as a tester, you're supposed to know what testing you have to do, right? You never ask what testing you have to do. That shows like, you have no experience, right? So you should not ever ask like what testing I have to do. Okay. Now you've got this application. So as a tester, I as a tester, I test almost every part of an application unless specified. No, you should not test that, because that is being done by the different team or something like that. Otherwise, I test the whole application. Let's say I have given this application and I need to test this. I test everything. Okay. Okay. For now, we don't have BRD. We don't have functional required document. Let's not worry about it. We don't know this is green color or blue color, or it should be red color. I don't know, this is the font is good for this. I'm not bothered about for now. I don't know, this image should be in the right right page of the or it should be in left page. I don't know. Okay, and I don't know, this green bar should be there or it should be removed, or something like that. I don't know. So let's not worry about this for a while. Now we want to test this. So whenever you're trying to test an application, you need to have an opinion that every application has bugs, and trust me, every application has bugs. Trust me, that's true. Okay, so you need to have an opinion. Okay, this application has bugs and I need to figure it out how. That's your job. You need to figure it out, find out, and you'll find the defects. That's it. That's how simple it is. Okay, let's move. Okay, so here you have so many buttons here. So I didn't find, to start with. Okay, I am just as a fresher, I just started it and I didn't find any issues. Let's click on this enter GM online button. So I have clicked on that button. It's good. Okay, now I'm just trying to put this, I want to order something, just place these quantities here and proceed this button, and I filled up all this information. Oops. Okay, so I put a same address, and let's figure it out this way. I have my MX card. Just put my MX card information here. Put this, 16 or 17. Now I want to place an order. Oh, it's not okay. And I want this shipping, and this will be shipped to my address, and this is shipping address and phone number, and the quantity 10. That's it. You got this. So you didn't find any defects. So this is not like how you should go. I mean, it's not, you didn't find the defect doesn't mean that it doesn't have any defects. So I'll show you how many defects you have missed just in one cycle. Just because that flow, that one flow, that you went one flow, right? Enter GM online, you just put some quantities there and click OK button and move to the next page, so on. You just went one flow. Just because that flow is good doesn't mean the application is good. Does it make sense? Just because you have gone through one flow, you have just gone one flow, right? Just enter GM online, put, just put this some now random number and just put. So that doesn't mean that you have done your testing, right? Okay, so you have not completed your testing. You have just completed one flow, which is just a narrow flow, just one small flow, which is positive test case. Just gone through it and that's it. So basically, you have done nothing. That everyone knows it's correct. Everyone knows, even developer knows, even project manager, everyone knows. So you have not found any issues. Now, let's go little bit more detail in this. Okay, let's worry about this web page little bit. Okay, now, so I'll be showing you some defects. Make sure you guys come up. I'll be giving you homework today. Make sure you guys come up with defects. Okay, I need everyone to be unique. So don't just copy just because I'm showing in the recording. You just come up with the same defects. So don't come up with that, because so I'm teaching this from 1 year. Everyone is saying the same defects what I have opening. So I don't want that. So I'll be rejecting those defects, because I'm showing up here to make you understand. You need to understand how to open a defects. Okay. So now, so we have completed one flow. That flow was good. Okay. Now, here as a customer, okay, I want to test it. Let's say what happens when I try to order in large quantities. Okay, as a customer, I want to, so because you are testing, right? You want to test this. Let's say I want to order in large quantities. Let's say some pretty big number. Of course, nobody buys at this number, but I'm testing, right? Testing is to be done. Positive scenarios, negative scenarios, boundary values, everything. Okay. Now, now I'm trying to place an order. Okay. Looks okay. But there is an issue here. Can anyone find out here issue? There is an issue here. Okay, I'm trying to test an application. I'm trying to put a large quantity here, and I'm trying to see, but there is an issue here. Exactly. Okay, so you nailed it. That's the issue. See, when you're trying to order these many quantities, you see this, the quantity level, it's more than 1,000, not even 1,000, so many quantities. And for this quantity, shipping at USPS, do you think USPS will only take $5 to ship all these quantities? So my question to you is, when you're trying to order these many quantities, USPS will charge only $5 to ship all these quantities? I don't think so. Okay, there's a different story that company will offer, okay, we offer free shipping and all those things. That's a different story. But to see this, I'll find a defect. So that's a defect. Okay. See, whenever you find in defects, make sure, just don't open defect just like that. You need to check with your lead, right? You need to check with your lead, and then you have to open. So it's not necessary everything will be defect. Okay, just to make sure. So make sure you understand that. Okay, no, now I found an issue. Now I'll open defect. No, just don't go and start. See, in United States, sir, make sure you always do talking first. This everyone only does talking. Work is the little part we'll be doing at the end. But you need to talk. You go, when you found such kind of issues, you need to report to the lead, saying that, hey, I found this issue. I'm trying to order these many quantities, but in requirement document, I was not able to view, because since it's not, it's not available. But here it's showing like $5. Is it an issue? Can I open a defect? That's a proper way to, approach an issue. Just because you found an issue doesn't mean just open just like that. Okay. Once you get experience, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you'll already know it and you'll get used to it. So you know how to open defect. But to start with, you never go, just like that. Okay. So that's an issue. So does everyone agrees? So when I'm trying to order, such a large quantity, and shipping and handling, I'm getting like $5. Does everyone agree that it's an issue? Okay, let's now put aside. Okay, if you don't want to agree with me, fine. So we'll figure it out later. Okay. Okay. Now let's get back to this page. So that's a one issue. Okay, you guys have noted, right? So that's how you need to find an issue. Here, what I tried is, what I'm trying to um, use a different flow. So you have found that first flow was very easy, very nice and easy and no hurdle. Here, when I try to order large quantity, you found an issue, right? You found an issue. Okay, let's not worry about it. Okay, we found an issue, and okay, that's an issue. Let me show you another issue in this. Okay, so there are plenty of issues. You need to just find out. I'm just saying like how to find an issue, right? This is what you will be doing the work. So this is what your job is. Okay. Now let's find another issue. Let's say you're testing these URLs. Okay. Okay. Now when I'm trying to click this, this is your, and in stock it shows 23. That means you cannot ship more than 23 products. Okay. 23. I'm placing this 100 and I'm still able to place this order. So is this a bug? Can anyone tell me, is this a bug? See here, when I'm trying to click this URL, in stock it only shows 23, but I'm ordering quantity as 100. Right? It's going to the next page. See, this is a very critical bug. Why? Because no, customer wants this 100. He didn't see the in stock, and he went go ahead and he went like a 100 quantity, and he just placed an order. Okay, and suddenly at home he gets only 23 items. Now the customer is frustrated, right? Said, what's the man? I've ordered 100 and they are shipping 23. And calls the customer care. He yells at them, hey, what's going on, man? I ordered like 100. Why you guys are shipping in this? No, no, sir, we only had a 23. So why didn't you say that? So that's that's a business critical issue. So I mean, I would take it as a business critical issue. Why? Because customer by mistake he didn't see this. He didn't see this 23 number, and we ordered like 100, and it just went through it, and he paid for 100. Okay, the $31,500, and he paid everything, even tax, and you know and he just gets an item of 23. He is frustrated, right? So he loses, so business loses. So at the end of, so now the customer says, no, I want to, no, it might be even worse that he will put a lawsuit, okay, on the company saying that, hey, I know I'm like, I've ordered this 100 and they are shipping 23 and they are not responding to the emails, they're not responding to the phone calls, they're not in the office and so on. He puts a lawsuit and that's it. Okay, so the guy who will be fired is the tester here at the end, because you didn't do the your job properly. So this is a business critical issue. See, I mean, I would take, okay, it might not be a business critical, but these days nobody cares, that's a different story. But as a tester, as a lead, I would take it as serious. Oh, so when you're saying 23, it should have some option, right? Some option like you're saying like, hey, please enter only 23 items, hey, there's no stock in this, something like that. Okay, so that's a second defect. So does everyone agree this is a second defect? I mean, it's not necessarily a defect. Okay, this is not necessarily a defect. Okay, the way the requirements designs, the functional design documents, the way it is designed, it might be completely okay, something like that. But I would take it as a defect, and I'll check with the lead saying that, hey, can I open defect? And I want to have a meeting with the business analyst and with the project manager and a lead, and saying that, hey, I'm trying to order this quantity and customer likes it and wants to buy 100, but he gets reached 23 just because in stock it has only 23, right? And customer doesn't get the complete order, and uh, and for his luck, nobody responds to the call, nobody responds to the email, nobody is in the office, and so on, and he puts a lawsuit, so it can be a worse. Okay, so that is one defect. Okay, let's go to let me show you another last final defect. See, there are plenty of defects. You need to find out. Okay, it's your job to find out. So at least find one defect, everyone, unique defects. Okay, so they don't have to be, you know, uh, same. Everyone, don't want to copy everything and show up. Okay, everyone has to be a unique defect. Okay, let me show you one more defect. Now, I've done this. No, I'm doing on Chrome. You can do it Firefox, Internet Explorer. There's one more like Microsoft Edge, Safari. If you have Mac, do it in good. Do it in Safari. All right. And is there any browser? So you do it in 4 to 5 browsers. Okay. Things might be different. Okay. In some browsers, this image might not show up to report an issue. Right. That will be an issue. That means it's working in Firefox, in Chrome, but it's not working in IE. So that might be an issue because IE code is different and the Chrome code is different. Okay. So on. Okay. Let's move to the next effect. Now I'm trying to order, right? So let's validate these fields. Okay. I'm trying to order, and instead of number, I'm just putting character. Of course, it's not allowed, right? This order quantity is always number. It's not all alphabets, right? I'm putting A. So it's saying like, please enter only digits in the field. Okay. Okay, fine. When I click this, please enter only digits in the field. When I'm clicking that mouse button, that's fine. Okay. And when I'm trying to hit enter, it's going through. So now the customer is order quantity A, okay, with a unit price $299.99 and will be shipping nothing with a total of $5. Does it make sense? Right? How can you accept a quantity which is alphabet A? Quantities are always in numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, not in like alphabets, right? So one more defect. Okay, and it's not, the page not supposed to go through the next page actually. Okay, the page should show an error showing that hey, order only numbers. Just put only numbers. Just like that we've got right here. See, please enter only digits in this field. So instead of that, it's going to the next field. I mean next page. That's an issue. Okay, does it make sense? Does it make sense to everyone? So this is how you need to open the defects. This is for web application. You can do it for the same for the client applications. Okay, so you can go, whenever you are trying to do try all the 3 buttons. I have just shown you only enter GMO online button. Okay, go ahead and try with this about GMO and navigate this page and click on this and make sure everything is good. Okay, navigate this web page and so on. Okay, any questions in this? So here, okay, let me whenever you're writing test cases, okay, just don't have to write any test cases because I'm not showing you it. So here you have to do 3 types of scenarios. Whenever you're trying to test an application, you need to make sure you are following the 3 scenarios. Okay, not necessary always, but positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. Positive scenario is what you are actually order quantity. That means 1, 2, 3. So that means whatever it's you are entering there. Negative scenario, which means other than numbers, that will be, I don't know, characters, a tilde or whatever it is. That's negative scenario. And boundary values, such like, boundary values kind of like 0.001. So that is not something which will be ordered, right? So if you want to place an order, so it's not supposed to go. So only digits. Okay, you cannot get a total price of 30 cents. You're ordering for 3 dough. Doesn't make any sense. It's a bug, right? So three types of always make sure you always do the three scenarios: positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. Always make sure whenever you're writing test cases or whenever you're trying to test, those three scenarios should always be covered. Whenever you're trying to test that fields, normally when you're trying to test fields, these are the fields, right? Okay, we need to test everything. As I told you, we need to test this image. Okay, so image is good. You know, um, is it supposed to be right side or is it supposed to be left side? Okay, we don't know, so I'm not talking about that, because unless and until you have requirement document or functional requirement document or business requirement document, we cannot talk about it. So as a, for the time being, like I would assume, okay, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about this. And this doesn't require requirement document, right? For this kind of testing, you don't require requirements. Okay. And so those are the three scenarios where you need to follow. You need to also test the URLs. So is it the right URL which are trying to, okay. So now if I want like glass, so when I click on this URL, so is it moving into it? I want to now use stocks. Is it moving to the next page? So on. So all this testing should be done. Any questions? So I'll be giving you homework, okay, to test this application. So I mean, you can test whatever you like. This not to test in this. If you want me to ask so many things, see, I have not even tested this. I've just shown you one field, okay, and there is of course more than that. See here, you need to test each and every field here, right? And okay, let's do this. So you also want to make sure that you just putting by changing the expiration, is it working or not. So if I put like 12 2015, so it's not supposed to place an order because it's expired, right? See, please enter valid date of the form, month and year in the field, right? And okay, so that is fine. Very curious about this. Okay, so all these things should be tested. And uncheck this and put information what you like. It's working. So there's a lot to test. Okay, not just these fields. There are so many things. There are URLs, images. To make sure these images are clickable or not. To view this web page. Okay, and there's three buttons. This all this web page should be tested. Okay, so all these things. You need to open issues. So I'll be giving you instructions today. I'll be sending you a document. Okay, just in that document, send me the screenshot. So the screenshot should be must. Okay, without screenshot I'm not going to accept, because I don't know. See, you're trying to explain something here. Okay, but how would I know? Okay, so make sure you put a screenshot and show me, okay, where is exactly the issues. In the real time too, you need to put a screenshot. Okay, we'll be working on that one. That's a different thing. For now, just get this one. Any questions? Any questions, suggestions? And at the same time, I think, okay. Yeah, Jana, do you have any question?
Hi, Mr. Mitra. At first, I just wanted to thank you for the great class. Okay, so far I've been understanding. I came from a very different background, still I'm understanding. So I just wanted to thank you first, and I just wanted to check my system. So we just have to figure out some bugs, get the screenshot, and get back to you by tomorrow.
That's correct. So I'll be sending you instruction. I'll be sending you an email. Okay.
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 Alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be giving you the Word document to make sure put the screenshot and you can send it back to me.
Alrighty. Thank you. That sounds good. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, and actually, oh, just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I'll be giving you this hopefully. Okay, so let's work on this homework actually. So tomorrow, hopefully by tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I'll be giving you another homework. So I'll be giving you two homeworks. Okay, two homeworks might not be at the you don't have to submit at the same day, but next day or like 2 3 days we'll be having plenty of time, so don't worry about it. Even if I give two three homeworks, don't worry about it. Each day, the date for each homework will be different. Okay, so if no one has any questions, so can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.